and today we're here with Vicki Bailey. She is this year's Outstanding Individual Philanthropist. She was nominated by Sonoma State University, and what a pleasure to have you here today, Vicki, and be able to talk with you a little bit about your journey.
I did the depth psychology program at SSU, and it was a great experience for me. Got to know the faculty, became friends with some of them, and there were just needs that needed to be met there, and I could see a way that I could help fill that. And it just was very satisfying. And also, personal relationships are important to me in this process, so I knew that they would use the money really well. And Jerry Olson, who's right now the head of the psych department, she is so tight with the money. I mean, she stretches it every which way but Wednesday, and I knew it was being well used. So, and Elaine Leader, who was dean there as well, I just knew it was money that was going to be helpful, and I felt it was just the start. It was just very helpful to get me started thinking in bigger ways than just Sonoma State is. Although, you know, they kept cutting the budget too, and that was another thing, is it was a way that I could help with that.
Mm-hmm. Well, describe a little bit about the kinds of things that you have felt compelled to help them with.
Well, for instance, Jerry Olson found almost like 2 closets that really weren't, I mean, they're bigger than that, but we were able to turn those into labs. One's an observation lab, and the other is to do projects and artwork, neither of which area was they had to do some remodeling in it, and also, put supplies in that in. So I was able to assist with that. Then there were just projects where maybe a student needed to go do research, or maybe a professor needed to go to a conference or get a part of a book published, or help them do some project that the money simply wasn't there to do. So it was those kinds of things. And that all added up. I mean, it was just, they both made sure any recipient, sent me a thank you note, told me what they were doing, and I really appreciated it. You felt like you were kind of part of somebody else's life. It was nice. It was really nice.
So, Vicki, tell me a little more about other causes that you're interested in.
I'm on the board of Star Cross International, and we fund, it's called the House of Hope in Uganda. These children's, their parents died of AIDS, and more often than not, the family member that was left raising them was an elderly grandparent. They're so poor. So the children that go to the House of Hope have no one to help them. And we've just had a lot of success. It is a drop in the bucket, but our kids come out and they're able to work. And in Uganda, they have an extremely high unemployment rate. And our kids have something like a 90 or 95% employment rate. The kids, they're not kids anymore, are coming back and they're helping their community. They've been, they had it modeled, particularly by Sister Marty and Sister Julie and Brother Toby. So the values that are being taught there are being continued. And I get all chills down my spine thinking I'm assisting in one young man becoming, I'm not sure he's going to be a doctor, they do it a little differently in Uganda, but he's going to be able to help so many people, and it doesn't cost very much money to do this. And I think, if you have an opportunity to do that, that's just the best. I mean, they could affect outcomes in their country, just this small group. It's that tipping point. You don't have to have everybody on board, you just need enough.
Any words that you would share to encourage others to follow your lead?
You get so much joy and so much feedback from doing these kinds of things. I really can't recommend it enough. It doesn't have to be thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars. Don't let it stop you that you don't think you have enough. That's just not the case. People are grateful for everything. And from volunteering, everybody can plug in one way or the other. And don't let thinking it has to be grandiose stop you, because it's just not the case.
Well, Vicki, what an honor it's been to talk with you today and learn a little bit more about you and what your passions are and how it is you've become who you are. Such an inspiration to others in the community. We are so pleased that you get to be our Outstanding Individual Philanthropist of the Year.
Well, thank you so much. It's been such an honor for me, and very humbling as well. Thank you so much.
I'm here with Tanya Carvajal. She's the winner of our 2011 Youth in Philanthropy Award. And we're here today to learn more about her extraordinary accomplishments. So welcome, Tanya.
Hi, thank you.
And tell me a little bit about your journey.
I was a part of the foster care system for most of my life, since 5 years old. And I was in and out of foster homes. I didn't have the best foster homes. I didn't have the best track record with them. And I was in some group homes in and out. And I was quite disappointed in the system and how it treated me and fellow foster youth, and the lack of interest in what happens to us. And I was kind of jaded, and I didn't want anything to do with the system, anybody involved in the system. And I was approached about starting a program out here that would benefit people in the foster care system, youth-led, youth-run, it was said to be. And I didn't believe them. I was like, yeah, right, what's the, what are you really trying to get at? And I was really skeptical. I didn't believe that this program would be for young people and that we would create it ourselves. And but I met with a founding member from Napa, Mitch, and I really just asked him all the questions I had, and he answered them to my satisfaction. And I was like, okay, sign me up. I'm willing to help as long as it doesn't tokenize us, and we really have a voice in the decisions that are going to be made, and partners in creating this. And then we started getting to work with voices with 9 other youth, with 9 other young people. And so we all just created the program.
So you met and discussed what? How did, you mentioned something about that it was to be created by the youth. How did you do that?
So yeah, youth-led, youth-run. We knew it was going to be a drop-in center like the one in Napa had been, but it was really formed in this community with the needs of this community, or the lack of services provided in Sonoma County. And so we met, and the 8 other founding members were from different parts of the system. So some of us, we all went through foster care, but it was also probation, mental health, so the different systems of care. And we just talked about what's missing. What was missing in Sonoma County for us? Where couldn't we find services? Who gave the best services? Who were the people that really helped us, really cared about what happened to us, helped us fill out an application properly? And then from that, all those ideas and meetings after work and things like that, we made a plan to go out and recruit people and talk about the services that they had that they could offer inside of our building. To really benefit our youth, so it would be a one-stop shop. We wouldn't have to go this county's big, but so we wouldn't have to go all around the county, because there's 9 cities, and some of us were from Cloverdale, would have to come to Santa Rosa to be able to get food stamps, or from Petaluma to to out into the West County to get free medical. So it was really a lot of work, but we wanted to centralize it essentially, and we wanted the best people to be a part of it. So we did. We recruited specific agencies that we wanted to work with.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Now, I know that you have other parts to your life as well. You've devoted a great deal to founding and establishing and being a leader at Voices, but I also happen to know that you are also involved in the Council on Aging.
Yes.
So tell me more about that.
Council on Aging is it provides services to senior citizens in Sonoma County. I particularly work with the Meals on Wheels program. I'm the database administrator, and I love the work I do there as well. It's different age ranges, but very similar needs. Actually, extremely. There's a lot of similarities, and a lot of the times we're helping people stay independent. So, which is what the young people are also fighting for. So, I can sympathize and help and assist with that as well.
So Tanya, we've talked about your journey and all that you've accomplished in starting Voices, and also branching out and helping the elderly as well. But what do you envision for you going into the future?
I hope to finish school. Right now I'm taking a break because I love the work that I do and I'm happy with it. But I want to really do something with PR and marketing. That's my goal. I've always wanted to be a lawyer. And then being introduced to the work that I do with voices, I really enjoy helping people on a one-on-one basis and really be able to talk and help them figure out their lives. But I also think it's important that organizations get, the shine that they deserve. And I'm comfortable speaking in groups of people and really getting out there. So I figured it'd be natural to do communications and that. And then I'll probably always be with Voices. Voices has a special place in my heart.
So Tanya, what would you say to other youth about the impact that they could have in their community?
I would tell them that there's always more work to be done, and to find something that they feel needs a change or that they thinks could use improvement, and go out and do it.
Well, our thanks to Tanya Carvajal, our 2013 Youth in Philanthropy Award winner. We're very proud of you and eager to see what your future brings.
Thank you. I'm really excited to receive this award. It's an honor. Thank you.
We're here with some women from the Redwood Empire Active 2030 Club, the winners this year of the Outstanding Civic Group in Philanthropy. Why don't you introduce yourselves?
My name is Erica Walker. I've been in the club since 2009, and I am the current president of Redwood Empire.
My name is Kimberly Beavers. I've been in the club since 2006, and I'm currently the president-elect and on the YBF board.
My name is Danica Sparrow, and I have been with the club since 2010. I am the current YBF president.
And my name is Kelly Peters. I have been in the club since 2009, and I am the current immediate past president and also on the YBF board.
Very good. Well, in just a little bit, I'll ask you about YBF. But as a Seroptimus member, I've been aware of your club's good works for many, many years now. But I think maybe people in the audience may not know about what you do and how you do it. Tell us a little bit more about your club.
Our main purpose is to provide opportunity for personal growth, develop friendships, and also leadership skills, while also providing for disadvantaged children in our community.
All right. And I'd like to know a little bit more about how your club was formed, the history of your club.
It's actually a spinoff of the Rotary Club. Back in the 20s. They found that a lot of people in the Rotary had been in there for years and years, and so most people that were in leadership positions were a lot older, and it was really hard for younger people to get active in the community and be involved until they became older. So they branched off, and they had two different clubs. They had a club called the Active Club International and the 2030 International. So that was people in their 20s and 30s that could give back to the community and be more active. And in the 60s, 1962, they merged to become the Active 2030 Club. So we have several clubs internationally, mostly in Sonoma County for the U.S. We have men's clubs, women's clubs, and some co-ed clubs. So our club is all women, and we've been around since 1990.
How do you see yourselves influencing other young people in the community?
So through our hands-on events, we go out into organizations in the community, and we do events like maybe a Halloween carnival for the kids, take them back to school shopping. We do an event at Christmas, and so we go out to the community and really help these kids who are in need. And what we really hope to do is teach them leadership skills, teach them what it is to give back to their community, and perhaps in the future they'll pay it forward. We do have some children that we do help that, you know, we could really see them maybe joining our club one day. They're true leaders in their own communities, and we just hope that, you know, what we're showing them, they can go from there and help others in need.
Great. What would you say to a person who wants to give back to the community?
You know, I think all of us would just say that, you know, follow your heart and find your passion, lead through example, and the biggest thing is just finding something you love.
Well, I'm aware of some of the events that you do. I've been to the crab feed, for example, and that's a lot of fun. Who here would like to talk a little bit about that crab feed?
And our club's biggest event is our Crab for Kids event, and that is held in January. A couple of us here have chaired that. And coming up, we're going to be having our 11th annual Crab for Kids. And, you know, we have, we sell tickets. We have over 400 people come to our event. We raise money by selling tickets, by having silent auction items, other sort of raffle items. And all the money that we earn from the event does go back to our Youth Benevolent Fund, and it goes to providing, you know, gives us the opportunity to put on these events for the kids throughout the year.
I'm aware also that you do a children's shopping spree. Is that the first of the school year? Tell me more about that. How many kids do you help with? I think you get backpacks and you get them haircuts, and what other things are you doing for those kids?
Oh, go ahead.
This past year we had over 250 children that we were able to take shopping. It's a wonderful event, and we've had great support from the community, Cottingtown Mall, Santa Rosa Police Department, among some of them. We've partnered with 2 of our other clubs for this event, and numerous other clubs come and help us with the shopping for the children, getting the children registered for the shopping event. And it's a wonderful event. The kids get to go in, they can pick out their own clothes. You know, it's just a wonderful opportunity to see the children that we get to help. And it's just a wonderful day all around.
Well, ladies, congratulations once again on winning the Outstanding Civic Group Award for National Philanthropy Day for 2013. It's no surprise to me that your club has won this award. You do terrific work, you have a lot of fun while you're doing it, and we're very proud of you. And good luck going into the future.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I'm here now with Dale Downing and Don Schoen. They're the owners of Sonoma Market and Glen Ellen Market, and they're this year's winners of the Outstanding Business Partner. So glad to have you here and talking a little bit about you and what you do for the community. So I was noticing that this award is called Business Partners, but you two are actually business partners yourselves.
Yes, we are.
So tell me a little bit more about how you got started working together.
Well, Sherry and I went to Glen Ellen, and we were there, like Dale said earlier, we were there about 4 years, and it just was, there were 3 grocery stores in town, it wasn't working. So I talked to Dale and Carol, and Dale came over and put up enough money to buy a liquor license so that we could have a liquor in our store. And we just started being partners then, and took off from there. But then it just got so tough that Dale and Carol went down the street 5 miles or so, and we were separate for 4 years or something like that, I guess.
About that, yeah.
Yeah. And then, as I remember, I walked into their store down there, and I said, Dale, the Valley Mart's for sale. We need to look into that and maybe go back together. And we did. And that was a little work.
Yeah, that was a lot of work. Yeah.
Hands and knees.
Yeah.
Tough.
Don's wife is my sister.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Okay.
Sherry is my sister, so we're actually brother-in-laws.
Well, as business partners, in the way that we use it, you're also partnering with, I think it's lots of nonprofits in the Sonoma Valley area. And tell me a little bit about the relationship you've built with those nonprofits.
And Don and I were both volunteers in the fire department in Glen Ellen, and
For a year?
they would, yeah, for a lot of years. And we would have fundraisers there to raise money for equipment and stuff like that. So I think that's about how we kind of got started. And then, you know, friends would ask us to help out with this, that, and the other, and it just...
Then the schools started coming one after the other, and I think practically every school in the, well, I know every school in the valley now, we help out every year.
Mm-hmm.
Plus a lot of other people and things.
Yeah, now I think we supply lunch boxes for, I don't know, it has to be 10 or 12
Golf tournaments.
Golf tournaments every year.
Yeah.
We supply all the lunches and everything, and it's fun. You know, you get to put your name on it. And, you know.
Plus they give us a round of golf, which is kind of nice.
Yeah.
We also just lately have, we never carried See's candy. Dale tried to get it in the store for years and they wouldn't do it. But now, on the special holidays, Easter and I don't know if it's Christmas, but there's like 4 holidays. And the proceeds from the See's candy, we pick a different charity that, that needs our help. And that's $2,000 or $3,000. And it's just a big shot in the arm for whoever gets it. And it just makes you feel good.
Well, from what I hear tell in the grocery business, it's not like you have a huge markup on groceries per se. At least that's what I've heard. Now, tell me, how do you figure out how to be charitable? I've heard as much as $170,000 a year and still keep your business going.
Well, we keep an eye on the checkbook, and if there's a little extra, then we can give a little extra, and that's pretty much how we do it. Every Tuesday morning, kind of check it out, and it's just helped our business so much, you know, and helped us grow, and that's how we do it.
I've heard someone mentioned the community card program.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us about that?
Well, we have a card that you sign up on, and every time you come through the store and buy groceries, part of that money goes to whatever organization you want to donate to, and it doesn't have to be.
I know that you support many charities from what you've said. Would you like to highlight any in particular?
I think my 2 favorites are the Vintage House, which caters to the elderly in our community, and it's for an awful lot of them, it's like a second home. They're there all the time, and they just do a great job. And another charity in Sonoma, which my wife participated in for a year or so, is Fish. And they deliver, you know, cooked meals to different poor families around the valley. And in turn, we package stuff for them. Like if we don't have any old hamburger in the store, then that night, every night, we package up the hamburger, and then we give it to Fish for like $1.50 a pound, and they really appreciate it. And they do a lot for the community. I think those are my favorites.
I think mine is, you know, Boys and Girls Club comes right to mind. You know, Dave Fuhrer does such a great job. My wife's on the board, and you know, they just do an outstanding job as far as for the community.
Thank you, gentlemen, for all you do for the community at large. We're so pleased to have you be our outstanding business partners this year. Very proud of you and proud of all the work that you've done over the years. It's, as you say, it's truly made a difference.
Well, we thank you.
we're here with Ron Mick. He's this year's Volunteer of the Year, and this award is coming to us by way of the Volunteer Center. So, Ron, welcome. It's fun to be sitting here with you today, and
Thank you.
and our audience would love to know a little bit more about you and who you are, and I think really how you became involved in volunteering.
Well, I've always liked to help people. I was raised in a family that we went to church every Sunday, and I always felt that church was great, and I still go, but helping the people that were around me was more important. I felt that God would like that to be done rather than sitting and worshiping Him. So I always liked to volunteer, and I started out when my kids were little, volunteering for, I was a Little League coach, and did that for 10 or 12 years as my kids went through the system. And then after that, I looked around for what else to do and thought I'd do adult literacy, which I thought that was very rewarding. There was a lot of younger people coming out of the school systems that really were illiterate. They couldn't read, they could hardly write, and there's a lot of people that are English is not their first language that needed help. So I did that for about 10 years.
How did you find or discover the Volunteer Center?
I just I looked it up in the Yellow Pages and went in and went to the desk and said that I have some time, I'd like to volunteer. And they said, fine, what can you do? And I said, well, I don't know. They said, well, we need drivers. And they directed me to Volunteer Wheels. And so I do that for about 3 or 4 hours a week. And it's fun.
Well, tell me about the fun that you have doing that.
It's fun in that most of the time I pick up between 3 or 4 clients, not all at once, but and generally they're elderly people. They may be coming from dialysis treatment. They may be going to shop for groceries, coming from the dentist, need a ride home. And it's very rewarding to pick them up. They're very appreciative of having someone give them a ride. I've had people try to tip me, and I say I enjoy doing it. It gives me a good feeling to do that.
What would you say to others to encourage them to become active in their community?
Our society, I think, has lots of things that need to be fixed, and the government can't do it. We have agencies. There's a lot of good agencies out there, but they can't function unless people, you and me, just average people, go out and volunteer, whether it's giving some of their time or donating some money, whatever it is, to make our society a better place for everyone. And we can't rely on, like I said, we can't rely on the government to do it for us. We have to get involved. We have to get out and do it. And by doing it, we can see that, okay, maybe this problem isn't as great as I thought, but over here there's one that really needs our attention. So I would suggest that if you can, go out and volunteer and get involved. It's good.
Well, Ron, congratulations once again for being the 2013 Volunteer of the Year. I can see why the Volunteer Center wanted to honor you today. You represent all that is good about individuals making a difference in our community.
Well, thank you very much, Lucy. Thank you very much. I feel honored.